Hello everyone. In this video, I'll be taking you through some of the hacks about HSC standard maths exam. This question that we will go through today is from the topic of trigonometry, and specifically it's this one, 2019 question number 12. And what I want to explain is how how much relevant past questions were with this question. So the question that I would be going through would be these ones, even though they have a different way of asking, but they all were asking same things. They were all about depression, angle. And then in the end, I will explain how else this question can be asked, and can be asked in a harder way. All of this came from the topic of right angle triangle trigonometry. So make sure you know the basics of this topic well. So this is the question that appeared, and this one is giving you some scenario and then asking you how much does the owl needs to fly in a straight line to catch the mouse. But before we reach here, it's good if we go through step by step what I think is the easy way, and how the past exams move from asking this question in an easier format to what you are seeing in 2019 exam. Okay, so start off from 2011 question 4, because I feel this is the easiest way that this question had been asked. Again, you've been given a scenario here, and what you've also been given is that those scenario has already been mapped in a diagram here, which was not the case at 2019 question 12. So you're told that there's a kookaburra here which is at an angle of depression of 40 degrees, and it is 15 meters from from kookaburra's feet. There is a worm which is 15 meters. So pretty much everything is mapped in front of you, and all you need to work out is how high it is above the ground. So you need to work out this value. So you didn't need to go through and draw this diagram. All you need to do is this angle in total is 90 degrees, and if you subtract 40 from it, you'll get this angle which is 50 degrees. Now what you're left with is, if this is the angle we are considering, then this angle is opposite angle and this one is the adjacent angle. Now you need to know what formula to use, and I would recommend going to Study Ninja. This is where basically I've taken out this chart in which we have mapped from easy to hard questions by topic. And if you go in the right angle triangle, pretty much all you need to know about this topic is here in notes. So the formulas you need to remember are these: sine, cos, and tan. And a short way to remember this is so, ka, toa. So if you're given opposite and adjacent, you would use tan. Tan theta is equal to opposite over adjacent. So if I move back here, you have got opposite and adjacent, then you will use, okay, tan 50 is equal to 15 over adjacent. Oh, okay, then you can solve this. But if we move down, 2017 question 2060, again, this question is exactly the same as 2011 question 4. You're given a scenario and you're drawn that scenario. You're told that the pipe is 15,000 millimeter long. You're told that the angle of depression is 2 degrees. The only thing was, in that case, you were given a kookaburra here and the triangle was like this, and then you needed to work out this angle to make the triangle. But in this case, you have already got the angle here and the triangle is forming the other way. And here what they're asking is how much deeper the pipe should be. So this length is being asked. Again, in fact, the formula you need to use is exactly the same as well. You have if this is the angle of consideration, this is the adjacent angle, this is the opposite angle, adjacent length and opposite length. and so you would again use tan. So tan 2 is equal to opposite over 15,000 millimeter. So pretty much same thing. Moving on. 2015 question 9 is slightly harder. You're told that the top of the cliff is 67 meters, and you're told the angle of depression is 42 degrees. Okay, you have been given the scenario, drawn a scenario, but it's not completely drawn. You need to work this angle of depression, what angle of depression means. In these two questions, you've already drawn that angle of depression. So if you know what an angle of depression is, you can yourself go out and draw this, and you know now, okay, this is what a complete picture looks like. Then what they're asking is how far, basically this length. This length is being asked. Okay, so again, 90 minus 42, 48 degrees. So you know this. Then if this is the angle, then this one is opposite, this one is adjacent. Again, you need to use tan. This one is adjacent, this one is. Okay, so up until this point, pretty much same thing happening, and you need to work out one of the parts of the triangle. Whereas in 2019 question 12, you are not given a diagram at all. So you see, as you're moving along, it's getting harder and harder. Here, it's pretty much, you're just given, here it is, draw it yourself and give me the answer. So you're told that an owl is 7 meters above ground level on a tree. So you need to work these things out yourself. So if owl is here, and this is the ground, so you're being told that this is 7 meters above the ground, and the owl sees a mouse on the ground at angle of depression, so whatever mouse is here, for example, and this is the ground. Then what you're told is, let me complete this triangle first. Yeah, what you're told is that the angle of depression is 32 degrees. Now from the previous questions, you have practiced how the angle of depression works. It's here. So now it's asking you how far must the owl fly in a straight line to catch the mouse. So pretty much what being asked is this length. So it's not that hard. It's just that progressively you're not being given different parts of the diagram until you reach this question where you're not given anything. And one more thing, in all the previous questions you were asked to use tan, whereas here tan is not going to work. So if I know this angle, which would be 58, yeah, so this one is adjacent and this one is hypotenuse. So going back to here, adjacent hypotenuse would be cos. So we would need to use cos over here. So two things you learned here. One thing is that, let me go to the next slide actually, that how else can they ask if I have to put down my options. I've put down all the questions that have been asked. They can pretty much give you all the diagram and asking you any part of the triangle. So in this case, you were supposed to use tan and you were supposed to calculate, I think it was this length, but they could have easily asked you to calculate this length as well. Or they could have asked you given you this height and asked you to calculate this angle, or asked you to calculate the angle of depression. So be prepared with all of the different ways, different parts of the triangle that can be asked. And then further, this applies to this question as well, this type of question as well. But further and more importantly, be prepared that all of these questions and all of these different things that can be asked in this kind of questions can be asked in this way, in a wordy form. You're given the scenario and pretty much you have to design the whole thing yourself. Now, there's one more interesting thing at the end that I would like to point out. that this question I found was very interesting, 2011 question 9. And I think they had been very kind. They had not asked this in a harder way, because this question has a lot of potential to be harder, especially if you mix it up with this kind of question in a wordy way, like 2019 question 12. Let me just take you through what is happening here. You've been told there are two trees. One of them is 2 meters, another one is 11 meters. You're told the distance between them is 12 meter, and all you're asked is basically this length, the cable that's connecting these two trees. So essentially, if I just bring this here and make it a triangle, it's not looking like a triangle first, but if I just draw a line from here to here in a straight line, then this is a triangle. I know this is 12, so this is 12. I know this is 2, then the remaining length would be 11 minus 2, 9. Then pretty much all you need to do is use a Pythagoras theorem to calculate this. But be prepared, this kind of question in this way can be asked in a wordy form. That's number one. And more importantly, and harder way of doing that is they may ask you to calculate this angle of depression. What is this angle of depression? Or they may ask you to angle of elevation from here, this angle. So this is where there is a lot of potential to make it very tricky. So if you like this video, please let me know what are the other topics that you struggle, and I will try to incorporate them in my future videos. And also, please, if you like to practice more of these kind of questions, I've got these mock exams, 20 of them available on my site, and so you can practice different ways these questions can be asked. We also got a Facebook channel that you can join. I will put the link in the description, and there you can ask any questions you like. Thank you.